Hello friends, you're with a lonesome gamer, and today it's gonna be another legendary game. Today I'm gonna play Space Hulk. It's a game by Games Workshop. This is the 3rd edition, and as you can see, the artwork, the cover art is just amazing. This is actually one of my favorite cover arts. It looks just great. This is a 2-player game, as most of you will know. It's set in the 40K universe. And, well, I'm a solitaire gamer. So now there's the question, is it possible to play this game solitaire? I tried it, but of course I had to change the rules a little bit. And now I got to apologize for all these puristic hardcore fans out there which say, okay, this is my holy grail, how can this guy dare to change the rules? But maybe you can see it this way, I really like the game and I really love the theme and I want to play it. So why don't change the rules a bit when it allows me that I can play it this way. Another thing is, this is a scenario-based game where you have, I think about 10 scenarios or so, and the maps for these different scenarios are all fixed. And this is something I don't like. I like more variety in the game, so I try to do something like a, well, kind of a random map generator. I don't have too much experience with this, so I'm not absolutely sure how it works, but I try to show you what my ideas are here. So these are the different tiles of the game, and by the way, I was very lucky. I was able to get 2 copies of that. So these are the tiles of 2 boxes, and the thing is now, my basic idea is I will construct kind of a grid on my table, like maybe a chessboard or something. So and I'm going to randomly determine the height and the width of the grid. And on every place in the grid, or not on every one, but on some places on the grid randomly, some key board tiles are placed when I construct the map. Actually, on this table, the biggest grid possible is 6 times 9 squares. It's just because it's not such a big table, actually. And so here I prepared this little table, and it shows me which measurements the grid will have. So I simply roll twice a 10-sided die, and that's a 2. So it will have a width of 5 and a length of, well, that's a 1, a length of 7. And to prevent the maps from being too small, I decided that if you add this together, the 5 and the 7, it has to be at last an 11. So this time it's a 12, so it's good enough, it's big enough. So we can use this grid to generate our map on it. So, and as you can see here, I used the blip markers as indicators where the lines of the grid go. So in this case it's easier for me to visualize this and well, to build a map. Now I'll do it this way. There are a few key components to the map. I'll take some rooms, I'll take some crossings, some of these three-way crossings, and then some corners. And I also randomly determine how many of these things I'm gonna take for the start of the map. And then I place these things randomly in the grid. And of course there's going to be a lot of free space in between them, but then I'm going to connect these things in a way that it makes sense, that it looks interesting, that I like it. So I'm going to start with the room tiles. And first I'm going to determine how many room tiles there are on the map. And I decided that they're going to be between 4 and 7 room tiles on the map. So what I do now is I roll a die. Okay, these are going to be 6 room tiles on the map. So now randomly I drew my first room tile. The artwork on these is amazing, by the way. The same with the quality. They're really thick material. It's unbelievable, and there's even a little well, I'm not sure how the English word is, maybe relief or something. It's really, you can feel something if you touch these things. It's heights and lows, so it's an amazing quality, absolutely. I think there are no tiles out there which have this high quality. Well, at least I've never seen something like that. So now I'm going to take a 10-sided die for this row here with the 5 lines, and an 8-sided die for the upper row with the 7 lines. And I'm going to roll that. So the 8-sided is number 3, the other one is number 9. So it's like this. And then, so it goes somewhere here, because here is the lowest point. And I'm going to even try to see in which direction it goes. I'm going to do this also randomly. So I roll another die. Oops, this is not possible. Yeah, and it goes in this direction. But this is not absolutely sure now. I mean, this is just an idea. If I see that it doesn't work out fine with the rest of the map, I am not too strong in my rules. I simply can change it. It's just a kind of a suggestion to get an idea of how this whole map might look at the end, and then I make it a practical map for gaming. Okay, this is the next tile. I'm going to roll again, and this is an 8, that doesn't count. So that's a 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's here. And this is a 2, so it's right at the top here. So let's see in which direction we will place that. Okay, we'll keep it like that. So and I'm going to do this with the next 4 room tiles now. Okay, so as you can see now, I've placed my 6 room tiles. And there's a crossing in the middle, which might be a good idea. And this thing also counts as a room tile for me because it's bigger than the normal crossings. So for now I keep these open, these entrances which go out of the map. I keep them like this for now. This might become entrances then for the Space Marines or the Genestealers, let's see. But later I might also turn this around if it's better. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some crossings. I'm going to take between 2 and 4 crossings, and I'll do the same thing with them. So these are going to be now 3 crossings that I'm going to place randomly on the board. Okay, I placed the crossings down here and one there. So actually this thing, oops, no. This thing is beginning to take some shape actually. I'm not sure if it's a good one, but let's find out. We go further. The next thing is we're going to take these 3-way crossings, and we're going to take between 2 and 6 of these 3-way crossings and place them on the table. So these were placed like that, all pretty much in the middle actually, and their orientation is also randomly. I placed 3 of them. Finally, I'm gonna place between 4 and 8 corners randomly. Okay, so I'm done with this. I know it looks pretty confusing right now, and it seems not to make too much sense, like this here for example, or things like that, but it's more an inspiration. And now I'm gonna start to connect things, and for example I might change this room into a room with an exit here, or I might place a room here, a new one, just to make it a little more interesting, not all these corners here. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, what's that? What kind of a spaceship is that, where you have a lot of corridors but no room where they lead to? So there might be an important room here, for example, and but this is the basic idea of how the Hulk might look like in the end. So now I'm gonna try to build something up, and you'll see the result then. Okay, so this is what I made up. I try to go back as far as I can so that you can see it completely. So basically in the middle you have this big room, this crossing, and you have this long corridor here and another long corridor here. And then we have a room here, another one here at the top. We have one here on the right corner. And then we have 2 rooms here in the left corner. So now I'm gonna determine 2 entrances for the Space Marines. I'm gonna do this semi-randomly because I got something in mind for the missions, so the entrances should not be too close to the rooms. So actually they should not be here or here. On the other hand, I don't want it to be here. So basically there could be an entrance here, or up there, or on one of these 2 here. Okay, yeah, so let's see. Okay, so now we have the 2 entrances for the Space Marines. One is down here, and the other one is up there. The entrances for the... we have 4 entrances for the Genestealers actually. One is here, and as you can see, they are marked with the command point counters. Because I don't use these counters in the solo play, I simply roll a die. So I mark them, and then if I bring in the Genestealers randomly into play, I simply can see on which entrance they will enter the play. So then here, this is my second entrance here, and this is the third one down here. And as you can see, I closed this corridor here. And then we have a 4th entrance right here. I also closed the entrance here. I don't want Genestealers to enter right here in this room. Okay, and for the forces, I use this mission 13. This is some random mission generator which I got from the internet. Apologize to the person who made that. I couldn't find it anymore, so I can't say thank you. But well, I appreciate your work, and I'm going to use this partly to determine the forces of both sides. So we have here a table, and that shows me what kind of Space Marines I'm going to use. Okay, just take a look at these wonderful looking dice. I really love them. It's just an additional high quality component element. It looks awesome, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna roll on the table. That's a 3, and that says Squad Gideon. So this is Gideon, Leon, Valencio, Demio, and Noctis. These are my forces. And then here, on the back of these wonderful looking books, this is the rule book, amazing artwork, and the mission book here. On the back of this book, you can see the different Space Marines with their names, and there's also, I think, some background stories somewhere in the rulebook. But right now I'm gonna go find my fighters, and then I'm gonna place them next to the board. Okay, so these are my Marines. This here is the sergeant, and as you can see, during all the fights he's lost his arm. Well, yeah. Anyway, let's imagine he still has his shield. It's really a shame, I know that. And here we got the guy with the assault cannon. This is let me see, who is it? Brother Leon, exactly. So this guy has amazing firepower, and the others are pretty much normal actually. This guy has a, I don't know, kind of a chain fist or so, you can see that here. But because in my rules there are no doors, there is not really an advantage to that fist. Okay, and then we are rolling for the forces of the symbionts. There's also a table here, and basically it says with how many echoes they start, how many blips they start, and then how many blips they get as reinforcements. And if there is a Brood Lord. So that's a 5. And there's at the beginning 2 blips and then 2 blips per turn, which is pretty tough. Okay. Okay, and then we got to think about a mission. And well, the basic idea is that I want to use possibly the whole board or most of the areas of the board. I mean, it makes no sense. I don't know if I go from here, let's say from this green room here to that green room there, and then all this is not used. That's sad. So the mission will be that there was kind of an accident on this spaceship, which was a spaceship of the Space Marines of the Empire, and there was an attack of the Genestealers, whatever, and they were quite overrun, and a few made it to some stasis chambers where they also could not be attacked by the Genestealers. And the mission now for these guys is it to enter the Hulk, to get these survivors, and if they find a survivor, he will help them with the fighting, and then go back to the middle, and here is this kind of teleportation point, and then each turn one Space Marine can be teleported off the Hulk. And at least one of the survivors of the Space Marines that are freed by me, one of them has to survive and has to come back from this ship. Doesn't matter if the others die, of course. It would be better if we can bring as much survivors back to the ship as possible, back from the ship. So I'm going to place these survivors in 4 rooms. One is placed here in that room. Another one is placed up here. The third one here. And the fourth one is actually placed here. These survivors can't be attacked as long as they're in stasis. And, well, I'm going to place random Space Marines there. So I'm going to roll once again on the Space Marine table. This here is single Space Marines, so you can roll here. And let's see what we get. Okay, so now randomly here is this guy, Brother Goriel. Here we have this guy, Brother Scipio. This is Brother Zyle, the guy with the flamethrower, which is pretty cool. And this guy here, it's this one, it's Brother Claudio. He's good or better in close combat than the others. So, and this is basically it. So, just once again, we're going to try to reach all of these people, and we have to try to reach them all, because just when they are all freed, then this transporter device starts to work, and then we go back here and we try to transport off the Space Hulk. To free these guys, you have to kind of turn off the stasis tank. So you simply go in here and you use one action point to do that. And then this guy jumps out the stasis tank full of adrenaline, and he can start right away with his first turn. Okay. So I gotta be honest here. I'm absolutely not sure if this works. It's always the same problem. I have no great experience with these, how to construct the Hulks, if this is a good one or not, I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure about this kind of mission, if it's balanced or not. But I say let's find out, and maybe you get an impression how I play this game solitaire. So I hope you're going to watch the second part and the following parts of the video. See ya.